The SPCA Serving Erie County cares for about 12,000 animals each year, many of them surrendered or seized and then adopted out to loving families. But right now, the organization's shelter in West Seneca is so full of dogs that it has temporarily suspended admitting any more of them. Well, the announcement came in a social media post, the SPCA saying that there have been several animal cruelty cases over the past month involving a lot of dogs, and that's led to a shortage of space and a drain on resources. So the nonprofit has been forced to take this step with the Harlem Road kennels simply full. The question is, what happens now? Gina Lattuca is Chief Communications Officer for the SPCA Serving Erie County, and she's here with us live tonight. Gina, thanks for coming in.
Of course, thank you so much.
So walk me through how we got here. A couple of these seizures were big enough that they were in the news, so people might be aware of this, and it's really done a number on the shelter.
Oh, that's right. There were some highly publicized cases in recent weeks that brought in more than 60 dogs just in those publicized cases. A case last week brought in about 25 cats. You know, we're a humane society that engages in law enforcement. Not all humane societies do. So it's not just that we have dogs that we're putting up for adoption or cats that we're putting up for adoption. We have law enforcement. We have a wildlife rehabilitation department. We have our farm animals. A lot of times we say the SPCA Serving Erie County is at capacity, and I think it's a very common thing to walk through and say, well, geez, I see 10, 12 open kennels. I see 20 open cat cages. What do you mean you're at capacity? But when we say that we're at capacity, it's not so much a physical space issue. We're talking about resources. So we can have two cases like that where in the blink of an eye, suddenly there are 60 additional animals to treat. When we're talking about some of these cruelty cases, these aren't animals typically that can be turned around and go right onto the adoption floor.
Takes a while.
Some of those animals in the case a couple weeks ago had to be sedated before we could even groom them, before we even began a full examination process. We couldn't even touch the animals. So these aren't quick cases, these are longer. I had to bring some numbers with me because even I was shocked when I saw some of these numbers. Now this is as of Friday morning, so it's not taking into account Friday, Saturday, or today. We had 63 dogs and puppies in the shelter, 28 in foster homes. We're still caring for those foster animals too. We had 88 cats and kittens in the shelter, 73 in foster homes. As far as other animals, small animals and birds, 31 in the shelter, 33 in foster. For those people not doing the math, that totals 181 animals in the shelter. Wow. 134 out of the shelter, and that's Friday morning. We haven't even talked about these days yet, so it's difficult.
Yeah, how unprecedented is it to take this step to actually say to the public, you did it on social media, you put it on your website, to say at least temporarily we have to stop dog admissions? How unprecedented is that?
I guess I would say that it's unprecedented. We haven't done this in about 18 months, maybe 2 years. Okay. I think what happens is, you know, we have a very high standard of care for our animals, and we know what we can prepare for. We have a very finite budget. We have a certain number of people with the same number of hours in a day. So how can you properly prepare for a storm? Part of knowing how to handle a storm is knowing what your resources are, knowing when you have to say stop. This is what we can do because of that high standard of care. If we don't take the responsibility of knowing when we've reached our limit, not knowing that can mean animals' lives. And we're not about to start euthanizing because we've taken in more animals than we can properly care for. It's unrealistic to think that one organization in this community can meet an indefinite number of animal needs for an infinite number of animals in the community. It takes an entire community. That's why we've moved to this community-based sheltering model. We're looking at a whole community to help with this issue. For people who have to surrender dogs right now, we can help with that rehoming process. We're even absorbing the cost of people taking photos of their dogs or cats or any animal, putting them on our website so that people can rehome their animals on their own. We can at least help in that way while we're going through this difficult period.
I only have about 30 seconds left, but I know you're obviously working with these other organizations, as you mentioned, out in the community, if folks do need to surrender an animal or something like that right now. But as far as people who are watching who, you know, think, goodness, let me help in this short term, you're always needing foster, right? Is that part of the solution here in the short term?
Absolutely. My answer will always be yes to is fostering part of the solution. Volunteering in some way, volunteering in our medical team, volunteering in our foster team, any kind of volunteering, any kind of fostering, of course donating, and definitely adopting will help.
And more information is at the website there as well, yourspca.org.
That's
right?
it.
All right. Gina Lattuca, Chief Communications Officer for the SPCA. Great to see you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Appreciate it.